The reason why Pakistan is failing as a democracy is because the idea on which Pakistan is based, that very idea is not supportive of democracy and democratic rights. What does the two-nation theory state? The two-nation theory states that Hindus and Muslims cannot live together because they are two separate nations. Please keep into account the word nations. Hindus and Muslims are not two separate nations. They are two separate communities. The moment the two-nation theory stated that we are two separate nations, it basically said that no matter what happens, we cannot live together because we have different cultural background, different historical background, different art and architecture, different philosophy, and we are two completely antagonistic ways of life. But India, along with hundreds of other nations of the world, they are a living testimony of the fact that Hindus and Muslims can live together as two separate communities but a single nation. Now, if two-nation theory has to be taken at its face value, then it has to be construed, or rather it is bound to give in wider implications. What are these wider implications? Why restrict this particular theory only to Hindus and Muslims? Going by this logic, Muslims and Christians are also two separate nations. Christians and Jews are two separate nations. Hindus and Parsis are two separate nations. And hence, you've got to have homogeneous countries and not heterogeneous countries. So this Pakistan cannot house any minority. It has to be a country solely for the Muslims. And a very substantial proof of what I am saying is the present situation which is prevailing in Pakistan. You can see the side effect of the two-nation theory. You have persecution of Hindus going on in this country. Christians are being bulldozed effectively. Sufi shrines are being blasted. Shia processions are being bombed. Ahmadiyas are being very systematically persecuted by the state. So wherever there could have been injustice, injustice is taking place in Pakistan. And the root of this injustice is the two-nation theory, because two-nation theory is an exclusionary concept. As long as a nation is based on an exclusionary concept instead of an inclusionary concept, the situation is going to remain dismal. The second problem with Pakistan is what was the problem with the leaders of the Muslim League when they were striving to make Pakistan. The movement was restricted to the elites, and in the 1930s, after the 1937 elections in which Muslim League took a beating, Allama Iqbal, who is supposedly the ideological founder of the idea of Pakistan, he shot off a letter to Muhammad Ali Jinnah in which he said if the League doesn't change its ways, then it will only serve the interests of the elites who are currently a part of it, and it will never be able to cater to the Muslim masses. And this is exactly what has happened in Pakistan. Power has remained concerted into the hands of the elites. Look at Nawaz Sharif. Who is he? He's a steel magnate. Look at Asif Ali Zardari. Who is he? He's a businessman. Look at Imran Khan. Who is he? He's a glamorous superstar who was a very successful cricketer. That is his first identity. His second identity is that of a politician, not his first identity. So all these people, their first identities have helped them into becoming politicians. They are not first politicians and then something else. They are first either steel magnates or businessmen or sports stars and then politicians. And the kind of dominance which one single state of Punjab has had in Pakistan has been so very negative for the rest of the country that regionalism today is a very intrinsic feature of Pakistan. And because the wealth is consolidated with the Punjabis, the other states in Pakistan are somewhere down the line feeling the heat. Last thing which I feel is not letting democracy prosper in Pakistan is Pakistan's army. And the reason for the strength of the Pakistani army is the structure of Pakistan. Whenever there are small countries, the army always is capable of initiating a coup, because in such sort of countries where democracy is failing, the country is small, the country can be managed by means of martial law. You cannot have martial law in this country, that is India, because this is a huge country. The army will not be able to manage. However, in the case of Pakistan, the disillusionment of the masses is high on all accounts, or rather on most of the accounts. The country's performance is seeping down, and because the small size of the country, the army always feels that whenever the situation is going to the barrel, the army always feels that it is its responsibility to take over the mantle, and hence it does that easily. And it need not worry about how it is going to rule, because the country is small. So you can have military presence all across the country. It cannot happen in a country like Russia. It can never happen. How will you have military presence all across the nation? It is such a huge nation, vast nation. Same case with India. But Pakistan is small, full of disillusionment, full of failures, and at the end of the day there are so many groups which are supportive of the army, because armies all across the country, they generate patriotism. People feel that the best set of people, they are serving the country in the form of the armed forces. It serves the country. It has got intelligent men, men with impeccable integrity, and they will change the nation. And hence, when a coup takes place, you will always see that in Pakistan, whenever a coup has taken place, after a year or two, the people are supportive of the military dictator, because they feel that he can set things right in their country. So I personally feel that it is because of these three reasons that Pakistan is not able to prosper as a democracy.